Okay, right, so today we're going to get on the roof. It's probably one of the hardest things to show you. Are you all right?
Yeah.
It's probably one of the hardest things to show you successfully because it's hard to film and sort of be up on the roof at the same time. So I'll do you a little drawing first, right? So if that's the perimeter of the building there, and that there is there's the steel. I'll just indicate that so you know where it is, yeah? Right, so what we're basically going to do, we're going to put timbers like that all the way across. It's quite tricky to draw. Yeah, all the way across like that. And we're going to use a 400 spacing, not a 400 centimetre. The reason why we're using the 400 spacing is we can get better use out of the insulation, which of course is expensive. So we'll put a front, and we know what our front overhang is, right? And it's in the build pack if you want to know what the overhang is. But the overhang is worked out so that the UPV soffit comes at a certain size and it will fit. And by the time your cladding's on it, it's all concealed. And then what we'll do, we'll put a timber right away across the front like that. Now the back of the building, the garage was not square, so the back of the building, I'm going to exaggerate it, is like that, yeah? So it's bigger at that side. Only by a few mil, but it's bigger. So, because what we were trying to do is keep it square with his patio, yeah? But then his garage wall was at an angle, so we tried to give him the best size we possibly could. So, what we're going to do, we'll keep all the front the same size, then I'm going to get a block there, measure there at one side, measure there at one side, and then I'm going to pull a line across there. I'm going to ping a line on it and cut all the excess off, so I will have a parallel line on the back of the building, and then I'll fix another timber like that there. And then what I'll do then, we'll go along this wall plate where we're sat now, and then we're going to fix some timbers, put a noggin, fix some timbers, put a noggin, 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 like that, and then we will then put another timber in there, and we'll do the same on that side. Put another timber in there, and then what we'll do then, we'll divide the room and we'll go down and we'll put a series of noggins all the way down the room, and that will be the full roof structure. I know it looks a little bit complicated, it's a crappy way I've drawn it, but you should be able to see it from what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to check that David, I didn't need the tape measure, sorry. I'm just going to double check that this noggin here that I've got is 400, it is, and that is my overhang, so we're good to go there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix one timber to one side of the building, I'm going to fix another timber to the far side of the building, and then I'm going to pull a string line across the front, and then all these joists, all these rafters, sorry, I'm going to put at 400 spacings all the way along the front, to space them at the back, and then we'll be following this detail here. And what else I need to do as well, I'll find my pen, where have I just put that pen? There it is. Right, so the length of timber, it needs crowning. So what that actually means is, I've explained this loads of times before, let's say the timber has got a belly in it like that, to exaggerate, it's a lot easier to show you, so exaggerating. So the crown wants to be up rather than down, because if you think about it, if you put it down, then you're going to get snow load on your roof and all stuff like that, and then it's going to put pressure and it's going to sag even more, and you're going to end up with pulls on your roof, which is not the end of the world on a rubber roof, but you don't want it, so you're going to put it up. So when the pressure comes down, it might drop down a little bit, you never know, it might not, it might stay as it is, but up is better, because then stuff will rain off and it won't sag down, if that makes sense. Yeah, right, so without further ado, where I'm going to put you, Davey, now. I'll pull these other three timbers over there, David, and sort of stay over in that corner then, yeah? Right, so you can see the line there, it's nice and taut. I've put the two end timbers, I've spaced them off, overhang, let me start that again. So you see I put the line on there, it's really tight, yeah? So I fix that timber there, I've fixed that one on that far side as well, and the overhang is the same on both sides. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go down, I'm going to crown my timber, as I said, put the crown up. I'm using that 400 spacer block there, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to nudge it forward so that it's just on the string line, which it is. Get my nail gun. I'm going to put just one nail in, because what I don't want to do is trap that spacer there, and then what I'll do then is, I'm only putting two in it, because what I don't want to do is proper fix it down and then go to that end and I'm struggling to move it, because what I've done down that end there, I've put it approximately 400 from what I can gauge by just by looking at it. Normally we'd have somebody on that other end, but Dave is obviously filming today, so that isn't going to happen. what I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way back again now. So this is my next one now. So what let's do now is, again, crown that timber, put my spacer in there, nudge it forward to where it wants to go. And what's going to happen now is, I'm on there, yeah, make sure that I'm right there as well. I'm good. Get a fixing in there. And so on, and I'm just going to work my way down. And then what I've done, when I fix that side, I'll go to that side and I'll 400 space them and fix them as well. But because I've come to this steel now, I will still put one fixing in there, but I'm going to put the joist hangers on there, and I'll show you what we do with them and as to why we do it as well. Because I seen a post the other night on Carpenters Forum, and they were slagging it down, but they've not actually thought about why we do it, to be fair. So I'm just going to work right along, and then we'll discuss upside down joist hangers. Right, so you can see the string line on the front there, so all the timbers are in line with the front and they're all spaced at 400 spacings, not 400 centres. So now, that's obviously fixed because that was my first one, so what I'm going to do now is just pull that across to there like that, pop my block in. Like I say, it's one of the hardest things to show you this decently because it's hard to film it. I'm just going to put a fixing under there. The reason why I fixed it under there is just so I can get that out, don't have to worry about nipping it and that. But what I will do now, the roof needs, I'm going to talk about wind lift a bit later when I do joist hangers, but what I need to do when I go on this roof is spike that timber into that wall plate there like that, so it's well fixed down. I'm going to do the same with all of them as I go down, but what I'll do now is just keep manoeuvring down here, put my spacer block in there like that, make sure I'm in a good position, and then I can nail it again. Nails. Right, we're using 90mm nails on this, the Paslode IM 350 Plus. If you're going to build one of these yourself, these are often on Facebook Marketplace, these nail guns. You need to be careful though, because sometimes when they stop working, even though they're serviced, you don't actually get them working consistently again. But it's just something to watch out for. You can normally pick them up. How much are they, John? About 250? 350s. The Paslode. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, you can pick up a decent one for about 250. They're about 520 brand new. But they are a massive time saver. We've also got the Milwaukee nail guns, which when it comes to winter time, we'll probably jump across to them because they don't let you down because the gas freezes in the IM 350. Although they are a lot heavier, so that's the downside to them. I'm just trying to, like I said, it's extremely difficult to show you this in a load of detail. But what I'm going to do, basically, I'm going to go along, get all them spaced, get them all fixed, and then what we'll do then, we'll address the front and the back trimmers. I'll just talk about sizings. If you go on the span table will tell you that 5x2 is not sufficient over this size, but because you're limited to the 2.5, this is as much as we can use, and the proof is in the pudding really. It never lets us down. We never go back to cracked ceilings or anything like that, it's not a thing. So that's it, 5x2. So we've gone down, we spaced them at 400. Now, obviously, I told you before, the building's slightly off square like because the back wall, this brick wall, and we're trying to give them as much as we can. So what I've done, I've pinged the line all the way down. I don't know if David can see that line there. So I've got a full line all the way down, so it's parallel with the back of the building. And then what will happen then is, I'm going to cut these off in a second, but when we put our back trimmer on, which will come to approximately there, that distance there then will allow our soffit to slide under. It will go under that gap I showed you yesterday about that gap there. So it will slide under there, it will hide behind there, and that will be a lovely little finish with a 100mm strip of soffit. My next issue now is we can't get to the back of this building, so when I cut these off, I don't want them to all drop down there and be messy, so I bang the slate lat on there, and what I'll do is I'll cut 4 or 5, cut through there, throw it in there and get rid of it, and that should do the job. I'd normally whip, if we were doing it like this, I'd normally whip these off with a circular saw, but because of the metal, I won't get the guide down on the saw, not the guide, the base plate on the saw will hit the metal before it actually cuts through. So I'm going to opt for the little still saw on this job. Right, so we're going to put the back trim on. I've cut them off obviously, the parallel with the back of the building. Now, somebody commented on this the other day that there was no way made I'd bend a length of 5x2 over a couple of foot. I'm not actually trying to bend the 5x2. What I'm trying to do is, just hold it on, John. You hold yours on there, flush, John. Are you flush there? Right, so what happens is, right, some of these 5x2s, they're not exactly all the same size sometimes. Some will be sticking up, some will be sticking down. But what we want to do is try and get our roof as straight and true as possible. So what John's going to do now, and what we're doing last time, I think maybe the person who commented wasn't quite sure what I was at. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to ask John, David, can you see that? Zoom in maybe. Can you see the little gap? Yeah, no. Right, so there's a gap there, but what I want is that 5x2 up there. So John's, I'll lift it, John. Too much. There. So what he's going to do, he's going to lift that all the way down from this up. Down, John. Down, there. And I'm going to go all the way down there. So I'm not actually trying to bend the wood. I'm just trying to get the top nice and flat. So when I put my board on and my rubber, it's all nice and true. Oh, can you see that gap there, Davey? Just come down, John, just let it relax. Yeah. You get yours flush. Are you flush? Right, can you see that gap under there, Davey? Yeah? So lift it up, John. Bit more there. So I'm not actually trying to bend it, because the bloke was right, I wouldn't be able to bend a 5x2 over 2 foot, but I'm not trying to do that. So I hope that explains that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down and fix it all the way down there. John's going to do the same for me. You can do exactly the same on the front, and then I'll show you the end side, the end trimmers going in. Up, John. So the rafters are on. This is the wall. Obviously we've got a pitch there. You can see the gap that's increasing as it moves along to that side, yeah? What we want to do is tie this rafter into this wall, and then there's a few different reasons for why. You see that gap up there? So we're obviously going to plasterboard the inside of that. We need to fix plasterboards to, which we will have once we start putting these lengths of 5x2 on the top of the wall plate there. So what we're doing, we're screwing from the underside, fixing the 5x2 to the wall plate, and then fixing the 5x2 to the rafter, so the rafter's fixed to the wall plate. This little noggin there is, that's our space, our overhang, so that will literally go 500 noggin, 500 noggin, 500 noggin, all the way along, which will infill that gap. It's quite hard to show you that, but then I'll have all these noggins sticking out there, which will then carry my side trimmer, which will then complete the roof as far as that's concerned. And then what we'll just need then is 2 rows of noggins running down the internals. So what Davey's going to do, he's going to jump on the inside. I'm going to hold the 5x2 down. He's going to screw it up so it's dead flush with the side of the building, and then I'm going to fix it to the first rafter there, and then we'll do these little noggins, work his way along. But what you need to do if you're going to do this, don't put any weight on that, because if I put weight on that, when I fix it to that, I'm actually weighing it down. So I'm not going to actually put any weight on that timber. I'm just going to work my way along. Right. Yeah. Right. Didn't film putting the noggins in simply because I've had to nip off and come back. I think does Brandon put them in, yeah? So Brandon's put his row of noggins in now. So if you remember the drawing I showed you at the beginning, that's pretty much what we've now got. The roof is practically complete, apart from the fact I'm going to go around and spike the timbers down on the back, and wherever I can spike them on the front. Now, this timber here, if you remember, can you see the steel there, Davey? Yeah. So I've got the steel. So my rafters sat on my timber that I've fixed. Let's see if I can see one there. Can you see the tech screws? So we've fixed that timber to there. And the reason why we fixed that is there because I can't get a decent fixing by spiking down into there because I've only got 38mm of timber. So joist hangers. It's literally a joist hanger now. There's a thing called wind uplift, right, where if the wind is particularly strong and it can catch at the right angle, it can literally rip a roof off a building. You'll have seen it sometimes before. There was a recent one. It was a terraced house and the full roof was ripped completely off and leant against the house. So that is the power of the wind. Now, I seen on the carpenters group the other week, maybe a month ago, somebody had screenshot a picture of somebody doing the garden room. And he was using these, and he classed them as upside down joist hangers, which is what we class them as. It is a joist hanger. It's upside down. Now, you can get a thing called a truss clip. Let me just show you a truss clip. There, David, can you see that? Yeah? Yeah. So what you'd do, you'd sit that part there, and then your rafter would sit in there, and you'd fix that to that. Now, a truss clip is designed for that purpose. But we have joist hangers on site, so why not use a joist hanger? That's literally a strap. It's now created a strap, and there's no way made that that rafter can rip off that steel, because that steel is fixed to that building, and everything's tied into each other then. So that's why we use them. On the carpenters group, they were taking the piss about it, mocking it, and then some guy says, well, no, actually, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It's just literally a strap. Why not use it? But like I said, they do like to mock people on them groups, so tend to keep off them and don't give any input on them whatsoever. But that's that. So Davey's put all these on. The reason why he hasn't nailed there and there is because it's so close to that joint, it just splits, so it's pointless. Although he has forgot one there, Davey, haven't you? Yeah. So once I put this final one on now, did you give me some nails, Davey?
Yeah, I've given you some.
You did. Right, when I put this final one on then, I'm then going to start boarding the roof, and because I've had to nip away, what we're going to do, we're going to get it boarded, and then we'll just protect it with some visqueen, because we won't have time to finish it today. So what I'll do now, I'll completely nail that. I'll nail it to the sides there. I'll go around, I'll jump up with a Paslode, and I'll spike all the timbers down wherever I can. And that is the roof structure complete, and then we'll jump onto boarding it then. Right, the roof structure's complete. We're now going to board it with this OSB. It's OSB free and it's a roofing board. It's tongue and grooved. You've seen me do this loads of times, and can't really put any more of a different spin on it than I've already have, so it is what it is. Polyurethane glue goes off pretty rapid. Struggling to get the 5-minute glue at the moment, and they put the price right up. I guess it's the best materials that have gone up. Anyway, right, so what I'm going to do, if David looks down there, look, I've got my first two boards and I'm dead straight with my back trimmer, yeah? So I'll put a couple of nails in this one just to hold it in place, and then I'm going to continue to nail this one. But what, as you've seen me do before, I'm just going to mark up where the centres are, because when that next board comes into play there, I won't be able to see where they are anymore. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix it all the way along there, like that. And then what I'll do then, I'll look where that is and I'll go 1, 2, 3, and I won't put that one in, because if I put that one in, I then force that OSB down to that rafter, and it makes getting that in harder. So when I put that board in, I will then nail it there and nail the other board there. And we're using 63mm ring cuts. You see the little ring cuts on them there. That's what we're using to fix it down. And I've got a block of wood just to tap it in. If I need to tap it, I'll sit on the edge like that and just give it a bray with hammer, and that'll go in. Brandon's going to cut. And what we'll do, because it's ticking on now, we'll get this roof down, and even though the glue's not gone off, we'll just throw some visqueen over the top of it and come back and address it tomorrow. Then we'll have to sand it off and clean it ready for the rubber. The roof fully boarded, OSB free roofing boards, they're 18mm. We use 63mm ring cut nails. What I'm going to do now is, you can see that glue's still not gone off there. Look, it's soft and that's nearly home time. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw some visqueen over the top of it. We'll fasten it round with some slate lats and let it go off. And then tomorrow when we come back, me and Davey will take the visqueen off. We'll give it a good sand and a rub down. You can see little bits of glue there where it's either dripped off at bottle or we've stood on it and it's moved along. That all wants getting off. And then little burrs like that. Can you see that there, Davey? Look. Yeah. We want to sand all them off because we don't want no to penetrate this rubber when we put it down. We'll get out fascias and soffits on tomorrow hopefully as well then. So there'll be a little subscribe button just there if you just like hit that, that'd be great. And try and get up to 100,000. We're not too far away now, to be fair. So I appreciate that. So if you'd like to comment, like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.